Hey guys, it's your girl aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to WandaVision. We're now on to episode 3. So, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision were very interesting. We were introduced to this weird and wacky world that Wanda is in that is very reminiscent of the 50s television shows of Yonder. And we saw in both episodes that there are little pieces of the puzzle that kind of show themselves in the way of things that just don't belong in this make-believe world. The show's still very much keeping a lid on what's really going on with Wanda, who's in control of it. Is it Wanda? Is it somebody else controlling Wanda? And they haven't really gotten into the extent of what Wanda's capable of, because I think I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but Wanda has a pretty huge set of abilities as a mutant, and they really haven't delved into them in the Avengers movie. I don't think they're going to get too deeply into this one either, because I think this season only has 6 episodes. But the point is, Wanda's quite capable of creating a virtual reality, and we saw a touch of that in the Avengers movies, in Avengers 2, when she would do that to Tony and some of the other members of the Avengers team. So there's so many questions out there, but thank you for the people in the comments who let me know that the symbol on the helicopter and on that beekeeper guy is for S.H.I.E.L.D. So we're bringing in some of the TV world in with the MCU now. And again, that just kind of opens even more possibilities as to what could be going on here. But without further ado, let's get into this episode. But before we do, you know the drill. If you've been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button and join the family. That way you'll be notified when I do more reactions to this show as well as others. I have also reacted to Marvel shows in the past, which I will probably link somewhere up here or at the end of the video. So please feel free to check those out if you are so inclined. All right then, without further ado, let's get into that episode right about now. Oh, we changed up the intro and it's all in color now.
That much we figured.
It's just kind of taken us by surprise. Just kind of suddenly.
Wow, the entire setup of the house has changed too.
You were at about 4 months now. Is that right?
I'm with Vish. No, maybe about an hour.
Speaking, what size fruit would it be at, say, 12 hours?
Thank you!
Pardon? 12 hours?
Yeah, let's do the calculations.
Happening is fruitless.
Hey, up!
Hey, bud.
Wait, has he always lived next door? So people in the neighborhood are malfunctioning too. That's what I was saying, like, why are you guys actually doing anything manually? This is the way I would do everything if I had powers.
Happiness and oh,
Kicking? Already?
Well, why not? She's already literally gone through all 3 trimesters in about an hour.
well, I was thinking Tommy, just a nice classic all-American name.
Tommy. Then there's Billy, isn't there?
What about your brother's name? Remember your brother who died? Does no one want to remember him? No? Okay, just me.
It's due Friday afternoon.
In 3 days? Maybe I should sit down.
This is when she finally gets concerned? Maybe you don't explain to Wanda how pregnancy works. Or is supposed to, even for mutants.
Stop the clock.
Phil, do these earrings make sense?
That's his wife? Mr. Boring?
Oh, thank God.
What a weird couple.
It seems the people of Westview are always on the verge of discovering our secret.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Think about it.
I think something's wrong here, Wanda.
There we go. Come on. Will she break the illusion?
Yes, I know what you mean.
Nope. That's what I thought. I wonder if like there's a piece of vision that's still like in Wanda somehow that's trying to get through to her, and every time that happens, either she or the program interrupts it. And I'm also wondering if the pain she's feeling is whoever's doing this to her, if there's someone doing it to her, physically doing something to her in the real world. I'm a Vision. I'll fly the hell out of there. That's Rosemary's Baby coming here right now.
Hydra song. Find the goddess within.
Hydra. Okay, we've had Hydra, Strucker, and Stark.
Except might have already left for vacation.
At a time like this?
Well, in fairness, darling, the baby is approximately 9 months early.
Right? Thank you.
You'll be alright?
I'm glad someone's doing the math here because Wanda doesn't want to.
He was going crazy yesterday.
A stork.
Oh, look at me
Wow.
going in My boss, Mr. Haddix, was going crazy working on a slogan for a new breakfast cereal.
The fact that it would be so much easier for her to just say we bought a pet stork than to have her sitting there when you're in labor.
Is that what I think it is?
Oh, a stork. Yes, I can explain.
No! The crib!
Right?
Well, is everything okay with the wife?
Yes. So long as we hurry.
Because that's not suspicious in the least. How's it that nobody's noticing anything else, huh? Fires starting, chandeliers breaking. No, I can tell you right now, a black woman would not be here for this. Thank goodness the baby didn't come out looking like a robot. Maybe it has laser eyes. I'd be careful if I were you.
You're strong.
Well, it's because he's like 4 months old. Somehow I knew it was gonna be twins. I knew it. I knew it was gonna be twins. Between the 4 of the children and the fact that Wanda's a twin herself.
Yes, my trip. I don't think we'll get away after all. Small towns, you know. So hard to escape.
He said with fear and shaking in his voice. What does that mean?
Is Geraldine inside with Wanda?
Yes, what?
What's up with Geraldine?
I had a brother. His name was Pietro.
There we go. Okay, why does she look so scandalized by that information?
He was killed by Ultron.
Oh!
Wasn't he?
Dose of reality. About time.
What did you say about Pietro?
Pietro?
Who's that?
No, I think you should leave.
Oh, Wanda, don't be like that.
Oh.
What do you mean she has no home?
She came here because
Are these avatars? Maybe people were playing avatars in this program?
we're all.
She came here because we're all what? What are you trying to tell me?
That symbol.
The music in the background. You about to get flushed from the Matrix, ma'am. I'm sorry, my sister.
That macrame is not going to hitch itself.
Laugh track is gone, notice?
Where's Geraldine?
That's a good question.
She left, honey.
As in you murdered her?
Show.
Oh, we got the bars moving from the sides. We're widescreen, baby. She kicked you all the way out of the illusion. How interesting. Wow. Wait, hold on. I gotta go back for a second. I need to see that. Okay, we've got like some tents. We've got big lights. Looks like a power grid. I am getting some Truman Show vibes here, kids. Helicopter. How interesting. Woo, guys, that was the realest episode that we've had to date. That was episode 3 of WandaVision, and we still don't fully understand what's happening, but we now know, at least I think we can assume, that this isn't all necessarily mental. Because that was something from episode 1 I wasn't sure of. Is this all in Wanda's head or some kind of virtual place inside of Wanda's mind? Or is this potentially some sort of a place, an actual place she's been taken to? This reminds me so much of, this is giving me Legion vibes, like big time Legion vibes of this whole idea of this weird bleed between what's real and what's not. Let's just kind of get into the actual episode. Not too much happened in the fake world this time, which I'm happy for, to be honest. I mean, it is funny and cheesy, but we're to the point now when we're literally at the halfway mark of this season. We need to start to have things move along. And so we have this whole pregnancy, and I'm really glad that the show went meta with it in the sense of, ma'am, you were not pregnant like an hour ago. How are you pregnant? And now you're 4 months along, and now you're, your 3rd trimester. Like, how is this pregnancy happening so quickly? I thought from the get-go First of all, like I said, last episode they kept saying for the children, and I was like, okay, and she said, oh, I'm pregnant now. So I was like, I think she's going to have twins because she's a twin. And we're probably going to have finally going to have some references to her brother, Quicksilver or Peter, because as, you know, for those who watch the movies, we know that we lost Peter in Avengers 2. I'm glad that we're finally bringing that up because that is part of the trauma that Wanda has experienced in the last little while, in that she lost, you know, after being raised by Hydra, trained to be a machine, her and her brother basically being the only person that she's ever had in her life. And then the next person that she actually opened her heart to and loved and really built that bond with again ended up being violently killed in front of her again. So Wanda's been through a lot of trauma in the last little while, and I had a feeling that her having these babies, I'm like, there's no way that she can't be thinking about her own twin in this situation. And sure enough, that's exactly what she did. She brought him up. And I almost wonder if, like, it's somehow supposed to be representative, because the fact that she had 2 boys and not a boy and a girl, like the situation with her and her brother, I almost feel like she's trying to replace that somehow. Or potentially, it could be, if you want to get deep with it, a metaphor for both the men in her life that have been absent. And I'm saying this in the sense of, I know that in the Avengers movies, they made no reference whatsoever as to who the parents of Wanda or Peter were. But for those who know the comics, we all know that both Wanda and Peter are son and daughter of none other than Magneto. So obviously, Magneto, huge character in the Marvel pantheon, and now that Marvel has the rights to that whole part of the story, I'm wondering if we're going to finally bring that into the MCU now that that Magneto is actually their father. If Magneto is this, they decide to bring Magneto back, that could be a whole other aspect of Wanda's storyline and the overall MCU that I would love for the show to explore, and for the whole series to, not series, but the whole MCU to explore. But bringing it back to the show, that was another very real moment from Wanda, because remember, pretty much any references to anything that's happened before she got into this weird, wacky place, she's never been able to talk about, right? Whenever anyone's asked her about where she was from, why she came here, when her and Vision got married, how long they've been together, all those things that would bring her out of this weird bubble, we always see an interruption to delving into the reality. But then here we have Geraldine, who we met last episode. She says in this episode, your brother was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? So Ultron, real world character, and the fact that Peter's dead. 2 things that don't coincide with this fake world that Wanda is living in. And we saw her face. She did not want to hear that. She was not ready to deal with it. And when you look at how this world is set up that Wanda's created, it's all rainbows and sunshine, almost quite literally, now that we've got color. Everything's idyllic, everything's happy, there's a laugh track, everything's funny, right? There's no sadness, there's no darkness, it's all happy, happy, happy. And one could say that, as I just mentioned, with all the trauma she's experienced up until this point, that this is an escapism for her. This is her way of coping with the amazing amount of emotional trauma that she's been through. This is really just Wanda in some way, potentially, we still don't know that it is Wanda, but if it is, this would be her way of trying to create a family after she's lost all the versions of a family that she's really had in the real world, right? So it all kind of, on a psychological level, you can see where this all kind of fits in. And then when we see her questioning Geraldine, very interestingly, with all the other characters, like if any of them snapped out of the script, so to speak, like how the Queen Bee did last week after she cut her hand, she snapped back and she was like, oh, I'm back into my Queen Bee witch mode, let me just go back in. And then Wanda was able to shake it off. But here, Geraldine wasn't able to jump back into her character. We saw that, right? When Wanda kept saying, what did you say? What did you say about Peter? What did you say? And she was just like, and then she had the shield necklace on, which is an interesting detail for them to leave on her. I don't know if she did that herself or if that was something that was done to test Wanda. Poor Geraldine, she wasn't able to get it together, and Wanda wholeheartedly refuted any version of that truth. And we saw her literally get ejected from what looks like some sort of a potentially, what would you even call that? Like a dream world? Like I'm thinking that there's probably like a force field or something around this fake town that Wanda is probably keeping. I'm pretty sure Wanda is the one who's probably keeping the force field intact. Maybe. But whatever it is, Geraldine got kicked out. My girl did not get a passport. She didn't get to buy a plane ticket. She was like, bye, lady. She just sent her flying out of there. And then we saw all these, like, you know, military vehicles, helicopters, everything come to her location immediately. There's so many things. There's so many pieces here. I feel like I'm rambling every episode because there's so much information I'm still processing. Like even the commercial that was shown in this episode, Hydra soap, aka Hydra. Another factor that she's dealt with. Hydra's who raised her and her brother as of the MCU version of them. Hydra's who trained them to be the way they were and gave them the abilities that they had. So I don't know. This could be S.H.I.E.L.D., this could be Hydra, it could be both. Whoever Geraldine is, if that's her real name, she broke character. And I don't know if that was because it looked like she was almost feeling sorry for Wanda in that moment and she slipped and then she just, like I said, wasn't able to recover. But then we saw, you know, the two neighbors, you know, the one that was sawing through the brick wall, they were gossiping, right? They were kind of talking and they were like, is Geraldine still in there? Like, you know what, like they didn't trust Geraldine, obviously. So I almost wonder if Geraldine wasn't supposed to be in there. Maybe Geraldine snuck in. And if she was wearing S.H.I.E.L.D., so maybe Hydra does have her, and maybe S.H.I.E.L.D. tried to sneak in somehow, or someone who was working. I don't know. There's too many theories. The nice thing is that episode by episode, we're seeing the facade fail. It's falling away. Whatever is trying to hold her, I think, is slowly but surely losing its grip. We'll just have to wait until the next episode to see where we go from there. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you have theories, please put them below. Please try not to put too many spoilers if you think there are comic book storylines are being followed here. But if you have theories, if you got things you predict, I have no problem with that. Put those in the comments. I love reading them. Thanks so much for all the stuff that people have been leaving so far. I appreciate it greatly. So guys, if you liked the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next time, see ya.